Hello everybody, NGS here and welcome back to Symphogear G. Symphogear, the second season, the 13th last episode, the finale of this weird arc of Hibiki's return to humanity. I don't know what this arc is named among the fans, but it was mostly Hibiki's journey. Hibiki coping with the fact that she's not entirely human, that the relic is slowly taking over her body, and finally, eventually, Deus Ex Machinaing that out of her system. Just like that. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad that it happened the way it happened, but I did expect something more involved. Regardless, in the previous episode, a lot has happened. In the previous episode, we already started the cleanup, right? All sorts of threads were already slowly being closed and tapered off and sealed, and what's done is done, and they were done indeed. The whole thing with Shirabe and Kirika, they talked it out, they fought it out. Of course, how else can you go about it except fighting your best friend? And it turns out in the end that it was Shirabe that was the carrier of Finé's soul, and someone told me that Kirika's weapon, the scythe, is a soul-rending weapon, so perhaps it was actually able to destroy Finé's soul. I'm still not entirely clear on that. Maybe that was the case, maybe it wasn't the case. Honestly, I'm not really super strung up on it. Whatever it is, I'll be perfectly fine with it. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I would like Finé to stick around. Maybe some alternate personality to Shirabe that comes out whenever she's in danger or something like that. It's Finé's cool. She's cool by me. She had a change of heart. More Finé, please. If at all possible, of course. And now Kirika and Shirabe are all buddy-buddy yet again. Good ending. The thing with Tsubasa and Chris, also a good ending. It also ended pretty well because, as I thought, Chris was acting as a double agent essentially, except without telling anybody and without being prompted by anybody else. She wanted to get close to Ver in hopes of getting her hands on the Staff of Solomon so that she can atone for her sin of bringing the Staff of Solomon to life, so to speak. She very much still held it against herself that she was the one who facilitated the awakening of the Staff of Solomon. And, of course, that also had a good ending, because Chris called Tsubasa Senpai for the very first time, and that served as a hint that she's onto it, and that Tsubasa perhaps should also be onto her plan, and we're gonna just roughhouse a little bit so that it looks like I defeated you, but then, in the end, they attacked Ver. Ver tried to defend himself, lost the Staff of Solomon. Another very good ending. Then the whole thing with Maria and the mother. Well, that didn't have a great ending quite yet, and I'm honestly not sure it will have a good ending. I'm voting for bittersweet at best. Because Maria tried to save the world with her song, but alas, her song wasn't strong enough and she wasn't able to do that. She wasn't able to save anybody with her song. And then Ver rode on an elevator, made some weird ass fucking sounds, and sucker punched her in the face. That was great. Honestly, probably my favorite moment of the episode. Sure, there's the significance of Finé's words and whatnot. Sure, there is the fights and all of that, but Ver making some monkey noises and sucker punching Maria has to be my absolute favorite scene. And lastly, Hibiki arrived, stole Maria's Gungnir. They both got naked, and it's being live streamed on live TV, and it's never disappearing from the internet. Their bare asses will be there for the rest of eternity, and they will have to live with that fact, I guess. Uh, Tsubasa is a singer. Maybe Hibiki will star in some movies, so to speak. Maybe she's gonna start her career. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I don't think it's gonna be mentioned. Honestly, I'm just making fun of it because it was just such a ridiculous thing. But hey, it is what it is. Hibiki has Gungnir now again. This time she has it properly as an actual relic, as an actual Symphogear that's enclosed into that pendant. It's no longer a part of her. Will it stifle her in any way? That remains to be seen. I was honestly kind of hoping that Hibiki is going to get over her oropathy somehow, in some way. Either she will eventually completely fuse with the relic, or she will just power of friendship scream and subjugate it so that it's no longer a threat to her life, and yet she's able to retain some properties of it, like the time she managed to block, or no, punch knows with her bare hands without having henshined beforehand. That was cool, and I was hoping they're going to go in this direction of Hibiki becoming essentially a hybrid. But alas, Hibiki now has a proper Symphogear, and kind of boring. Not gonna lie, I'm always a huge fan of like hybrids and losing your humanity in the name of gaining power and those kind of topics. So I was kind of hyped for it, but hey, it is what it is. As long as Hibiki is happy, I'm happy for her too. And now also Miku will be happy, which is, hey, even better because two people are happy now. Two more people are happy. I guess Tsubasa and Chris and the rest are also happy that Hibiki is no longer under the threat of just dying of rock cancer. So hey, all's well that ends well, as they say. And now Hibiki is henching, Hibiki is singing. I can see the very first frame. Is it the very first frame? It is the very first frame. Hibiki just stands there with lots of sparkles. She's shining in her white and black and yellow Symphogear. And what happens next? I don't know. Besides Hibiki saving the day, I don't know what's going to happen. So let's see what happens, shall we? Subs, sound, and a reminder that you can support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon or by just sharing my content with other people. And if you do support me on Patreon, you will also gain early access to the next episode right here, right now. I think it's gonna be an OVA first, and after the OVA, I'm gonna start the next season. I think that's how we're gonna do it. There's still the concerts. We're gonna be watching concerts on Discord, so if you're interested in that, head over there. There's a link, invitation link to the Discord here, and we will eventually go over the concerts right there in some stage channel or whatever the fuck Discord has. Okay, I think that's it. That does it for housekeeping. We can just start watching episode 13 of Symphogear G, the finale, and we can do it as soon as I complete my countdown from 3. I already fucked it up. 3, 2, 1, go. I mean, yeah, she's been attuned with the Gungnir the whole time. Why are you surprised? There's nobody more attuned with Gun. uh and he just fucked off into a black hole. Where did Maria's clothes come from, though? I mean, heavens, the stars turned into music one day. Yeah, they're going somewhere. Yep. I like the system of him constantly connecting to the frontier. Like those cars on tracks, the toy where the car has like two copper brushes underneath. And of course, Hibiki won't just leave you to your own devices. She's the savior. Yeah, they will manage. They will manage against Ver. I have absolutely no doubt about it. What are you going to do, Maria? Meeting up with the rest of the team? Kirika and Shirabe next? Yep. I love the music here. Very cinematic. I don't think there has been a track this like cinematic yet. Right, because the Nephilim consumes relics, so it stands to reason that it will eventually consume the frontier. It's a big noise, rock noise of some description. Autonomous complete relic? You mean Nephilim? Nephilim's complete form or something? Yeah, full form of Nephilim. But now they aren't impeded by the anti-linker, so they will probably manage. I mean, that's up to you to decide, Maria. If you decide to give up, then sure, her death was for nothing. If you continue to push forward, then use my relic, Maria. Don't tell me this is going to be Maria's Henshin song. I'd flip my shit if it turns out to be Maria's Henshin song. Treble clef? they're gathering the power of prayer or something. Oh, so her wheelchair can do that. And that's why you stopped her song. Everyone you love is dead, or soon will be. Nothing stops you now. Okay. Okay, it's resilient. That's not your all out, Chris. Hmm. Well, this thing seems tougher than noise. Shirabe? Kirika. And Shirabe. I guess magically they are able to hurt the Nephilim. Hmm. Tsubasa Chris and Hibiki weren't able to hurt it, but Shirabe and Kirika were? Yeah? That's called sunken cost fallacy, my dude. I love how extra he is. Maria, Henshin. Or not. I guess dying is a fine choice as well. Henshin. Brand new Henshin sequence. Larghetto. Yeah, the broken relic of her sister. Interesting. Yeah. Question is, with Hibiki no longer being a part relic, can she still be a conduit to their suicide songs? Can she still withstand it? Because by being partially a relic, she had like 100% perfect synchronization with it. Now she's just a regular human using a Symphogear. There's a difference. Now, sure, they're not using their superb songs right now, but just, question for the future. They are superb songs, they don't sound like it. Oh, they're getting naked again. You have my power, Hibiki! Whoa! That's a little extra, isn't it? Yeah, they're superb gear, I guess. Symphogear born of their superb songs or something like that. I like that those designs are different than their superb Symphogears from the first season. Punch him. What? Oh, what? Shade Stitcher, that's what Tsubasa was able to use. What the fuck is his deal? He can use Shade Stitcher with bullets and curve those bullets arbitrarily. Punch him. Or punch the device. I guess that works as well. How exactly do you plan on doing that? It's quite big. I mean, you can get your wish. Hmm. Okay. No, you can't be a martyr. No martyrdom for you. I really came around to liking Ver in the end. What are you planning to do? Separate yourselves from this island? I guess, yeah. It's a space-sized Nephilim. Okay, she's building a whole ass brand new Gundam. Like this is legit a Gundam. It's not a an exoskeleton exosuit like she had in her base form. This is a motherfucking Gundam. And of course the Nephilim sucks out their powers. Makes sense. Oh, you're just going to banish it to the treasury of Babylon? I mean, that's a plan. If you can't defeat it, just banish it to another realm. Yeah, now you have to push it in, though. That's not gonna be easy. Is everybody going to be using the Staff of Solomon in order? A little bit of tentacle action. Or close it while its tentacles are still outside. thus cutting them off and surviving. I guess she also wants to be a martyr. Yeah, that's a problem. The noise will probably want to use this opportunity to escape. And this is a planet-style stare. Ah, yes. 7 billion people are also giving you their powers. Okay, so now they're in the Library of Solomon. Don't short the circus with your blood. And she's dead. Ooh, she has her Gungnir. She has her spear. Okay. Hibiki finally has her battle gear, or whatever it's called. And she's just sewing away. Run. Yeah. Yeah. Open a gate small enough for you to fit through, but not for Nephilim. Yeah. Good idea. You really don't need to stay around to look at the explosions. You should have opened the gate, like, closer. Excalibur? Durandal? Hmm? They're getting naked again. Oh, a pair of arms? A pair of arms? Handholding. The power of handholding compels you. Vitalization. Vitalization. Whomst? Miku? Is Miku going to close the gate? Yeah, just fucking throw it and hope for the best. uh... Okay. There we go. The hue slider on the sky went a little bit mad for a moment, but now everything is fine. And it seems like it also eliminated the noise, perhaps not all of the noise in the Library of Solomon, but a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's broken. More broken than it already was. Can she still use it? Or is it gonna be some kind of a gimmick that she can't use it unless she has other people to use it with? Something like that. I mean, you're back to status quo. You're not further away, you are where you were. Yes, songs, the universal language of the world. That's exactly why I can't understand shit of what Korpiklani is singing. And that's the end. 22 minutes in. Well, almost. Oh, ending. I was really expecting to get some uh closing scenes with credits on top, not even a full ending, just black background with white um, subtitles, unless they want to get get it done with. So they're amassing a lot of subtitles credits here, and we're gonna get some after credits scene. This really needs just a little bit of more of closing, just a little bit more, you know. Where there are now Shirabe and Kirika shown attending the same school that Hibiki is, Maria singing at the school, all of them hanging around eating crepes together, you know, some little vignettes like that. I guess maybe that's what the OVA is. Them just hanging around and having a cool time together. I hope that's it. And moment of truth. We have an after credits scene. Ah, fucking tsundere. All of tsun, none of dere. Watch it not being the case. Okay, show me Kirika and Shirabe in school uniforms now. Or don't. I guess that's fine too. there we go. That was episode 13, the finale of Symphogear G. So, first thing I want to do is, of course, go into this mode. But we're not going to start by going through the episode again. We're going to start by going through my theories. Oh, where's the... There it is. The orange one always eludes me. Although I don't think particularly much has changed as far as those theories are concerned. That's Virgin Road. Here it is, Symphogear G. Dr. Ver keeps mother sick. There wasn't a confirmation or a denial of it. So I guess I'm gonna use yellow here. Because it remains unconfirmed. I guess since it wasn't explicitly mentioned, then it means it's not the case, but I don't know. Mother redeems herself by sacrificing her life to stop Ver/Nephilim. That's exactly what happened. Although we don't know, she might still very well be alive somewhere on some, I don't know, deserted island or something. What happened to the frontier? I know it crumbled apart in space. Okay, she's probably not alive. Hibiki goes psycho mode permanently, but powers through it thanks to friends or Miku and keeps it in check. I don't think there is a potential for Hibiki to go psycho mode now that she got rid of her oripathy, so that gets an orange highlight. Doctor wants to keep Mother dependent on his treatment. Well, that wasn't explicitly said, so I'm gonna keep it yellow because might have been the case, might have not been the case. Triple Suicide Song was what awakened Finé in Kirika. We don't know that, and I think that maybe either in the OVA or near the beginning of the next season, as we get to meet Kirika and Shirabe and the rest of the Mary team a little bit more, it might be mentioned. Not Kirika's, but Shirabe's connection to Finé. So I'm gonna leave it unchecked. Finé can control Kirika, Shirabe, if push comes to shove, second personality. Someone told me that Finé is probably dead, like her soul has been rendered, but I'm still not entirely sure, so again, I'm gonna leave it unmarked. Miku henshins and saves Hibiki, Chekhov's gun from season 2, episode 8. Well, it wasn't the case in this season, but might be the case in future seasons. Regardless, in this season it was not the case. So, orange. Season 2, episode 10, there was a girl shown on some sort of a medallion, girl's photo, and I thought that we might be able to see her again. Might be the case, so I'm not gonna cross it out quite yet. Hibiki fake out death in season 2. I guess when she was hit with the big laser beam, it was kind of like a fake out death, but kind of not. No, I don't think anybody like explicitly was running around screaming, "Oh no, Hibiki is dead" or anything of the sort. So, I guess it's gonna get an orange. Yeah, and I noted down specifically season 2 because I have full faith that Hibiki fake out death will be something that appears in future episodes, future seasons. Next season villains are Mother, Ver, Maria, and Kirika. Mother, Maria, and Kirika have already been crossed out. I think Ver can also be crossed out safely. He's been taken into some prison or whatever. Unless he escapes and becomes the villain of the next season, I don't think he will just continue being a villain. Hibiki gets her Gia back. Maria gives up her Um, Shurel. I don't know what it's supposed to say. It looks like Shurel. Pendant? I don't know. For Hibiki, Maria and Hibiki share it. No, Maria and Hibiki do not share it. Maria has her own now. Three others were already crossed out. Maria's sister's pendant will be used, and indeed it was. That gets a green highlight. And Maria gives up her Shurel for Hibiki. She did give up her pendant for Hibiki in the end when Hibiki wanted to return Gangnir to her. Ver joins the team. Well, I guess that can safely be orange, unless it happens in future seasons when he will be a reluctant. I guess I'm gonna add reluctantly and not cross it out. Maybe his expertise will be needed in future seasons and he might be brought out of the prison or something. And yeah, that sums up my theories of Symphogear G. I might upload those notes of mine, those theories, to my Discord or maybe to my Patreon as like just an open post without any restrictions for support amount or anything like that. Just open to everybody. So if you want to take a look at them, that's where they're gonna be. But now, with that out of the way, let's go through it again. Shall we? As usual. Yeah, Hibiki Henshin, of course. Some berry tea. I love how Ver is just panicking, running, stumbling, tumbling, and fumbling. It's a very much. I think I mentioned it before, but it very much is a breath of fresh air from villains that are like super confident in themselves. Right? Haha, everything is going to my plan. I'm playing four-dimensional chess in my head and I've already foreseen 5 of your moves ahead and stuff like that. No, that is just a little shit who just happened to get his hands on a little bit of power. That's all he is. If he never got his hands on this tiny little bit of power, he'd just be hired by some institute doing his research and screaming at people who don't agree with his theories. That's who he would be. He's not special in that way. He's not a villain. He's an accidental villain to a degree, I guess, and I like it. I really like it. Uh, Very much a big contrast to Finé from the previous season, who was all scheming and all larger than life, grandiose, having humongous plans. Ver just wants to be either a hero or a martyr because he's a madman, and that's his sole motivation. And his methods are just inject himself with Nephilim juice and smack shit up with his monster hand. And if it works, it works. I like it, really do. And I just runs. Yeah, Gangnam responded to Hibiki's song. I really like the fact that Ver has to actually be in contact. This little detail that Ver can control the frontier as long as as his monster hand has contact with it, and it's consistent. He actually has to have contact with it. And I mentioned those like rail cars. I don't know if you had them as a kid. Uh, Toy electric rail car toy. Do they not make them anymore? Because oh no, is that it? No, that's not it. This is it. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Show me the full picture. Oh, it's on m.madeinchina.com as the site that sells them. I mean, apt, don't get me wrong, because they are probably sure all made in China, but do you need to be this overt about it? Where is it? Window capture. There we go. This kind of a toy, right? With like there are two lanes, they have metal leads in them, and the cars have copper brushes underneath. Electric rail cars toy underside. Can I Google that? Uh, no, that's just some train. Oh, there we go. Yeah, those like conductive brushes were made of copper. That's what that reminded me of right now. I don't know why, but I mean I know why, because he also keeps contact with the wall of the frontier. That's but a very weird like thing to associate it with, I guess. Maria is all depressed, of course, because she wasn't able to save the world with her song. And yeah, Genjuro being Genjuro just slammed a hole in the floor and just jumps down with Ogawa in tow. And yeah, Hibiki is here to also save Maria. She's not gonna leave her just, you know, for the. She's not gonna leave her for. She's not gonna leave her to rot there. Of course, she will save everybody. That's how Hibiki is. She will save the villains. She will save the mastermind. She would have saved Nephilim if she could. Like, I have no doubt that she would have saved the Nephilim and kept it as a motherfucking pet if she could. But she couldn't, so alas, we don't have time to waste. Take out the heart, simple plan. Nephilim raises from underneath. The Devourer. The classic trope of the dead relative slash dead mentor slash dead friend slash dead lover slash dead whoever coming to you in a vision in the time of need and inspiring you. Classic, really. I don't mind it, because what is Symphogear if not a play on tropes? Like, let's be honest. Symphogear is very tropey. It uses those tropes well, and using tropes isn't anything bad if you actually do use them well. But overall, Symphogear is very tropey, and I like it about it. So here it's just yet another trope, and again executed well. And I need to grab the picture of Maria's face here because, oh, it looks interesting. uh, the apple float in a big broad sky. Yeah, they're singing the apple song, and everybody around is praying, including the music producer that approached Tsubasa to grab her to sing in England or America or something like that. I honestly thought initially when I saw this dude that he's actually gonna be some malicious agent of some description. Maybe grab Tsubasa and give her away in the hands of CIA or whatever to perform research on her to reverse engineer the Symphogear technology or something like that. Or maybe he's part of the plan and he wants to separate Tsubasa from the rest to weaken Japan's defense, because there would only be two defenders of Japan and they can easily destroy them with the noise, or something like that. But he right now he just seems like a dude. He's just a dude. It's just business. It's not malicious in any sort. It genuinely is just a music producer who wants Tsubasa to sing overseas. That's his whole agenda. Unless they're gonna surprise me in future seasons with what he's gonna do. He might very well be the last boss of like the last season of Symphogear, where he turns into a galaxy devouring deity, and everybody else will have to combine their Symphogears to create a galaxy-sized Gundam to fight him in space. Something like that might very well happen. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But it would be one hell of a Chekhov's gun, I gotta say. Kind of a reverse red herring, too. Mother has her own exoskeleton. Makes me question, why is she using the wheelchair form and not an exoskeleton form? Is she just not like walking? I guess, maybe. Because honestly, they do have the technology to just give her a full-on exoskeleton. Or at least something for the legs. Like, even now, in our current state of technology, there is work done, and there are actually like prototypes. Or I don't think anything entered mass production quite yet, but there are working functional prototypes of exoskeletons that can not only serve to help like factory workers and whatnot to give them additional boost in strength, but to restore the ability to walk to people who lost that ability in one way or another, maybe muscle atrophy, maybe something like that. So I really wouldn't be surprised if the world of Symphogear had some technology that would allow Mother to just wear an exoskeleton instead of using a wheelchair. Yeah, we can restore the moon, bring it back into the orbit. Suddenly, Maria remembered the song of the apple, the song of her sister, and that was enough phonic gain. I guess the intent behind your song also matters a lot for the phonic gain, like the amount of emotion you put into it. If you sing just to use the power of the song, essentially, the phonic gain output won't be as high as if you sing driven by your emotion, driven by your internal need to sing. And if you sing something that you believe is powerful, it will actually have less power than if you sing something that's actually meaningful. I think that's it. I think that's why Maria wasn't able to restart the moon before, because she was singing with the intent, with the direct intent of restarting the moon. Now she was singing from the heart. And she found a newfound determination. And Nephilim is a tough opponent. Slashing doesn't work. It just bends the sword. I didn't notice it initially, because it really is just a few frames, but her sword really bends and wiggles. Sure, some of it is like sound waves from the blast, but it wouldn't surprise me if it just genuinely did bend and wiggle. Swords should generally bend, and they maybe not bend, but they should be elastic. Because if they weren't, if they were completely stiff, they would be brittle. It was actually a fairly significant plot point in Seikon no Quasar. Cool anime, not for everybody, a metric fuckton of fan service, but if you're looking for something interesting to watch, I can recommend Seikon no Quasar. Not gonna spoil, but essentially there was a fight where one person had a weapon made of iron, not even steel, just iron, and another person who had a weapon made of titanium. Um, both were swords, or I believe, or a sword and a scythe, or something like that. It was years ago when I seen it. Regardless, the person who was using titanium weapon lost. Why? Well, for the simple reason that titanium is brittle. It is very hard, but it's also very brittle. So, where iron was able to bend and even deform, titanium wasn't. So, the weapon eventually shattered, and that person lost. So, yeah, weapons, especially blades, should be just a little bit malleable. Hibiki Punch also wasn't able to hurt it. Then again, Hibiki didn't go all out. She didn't cock her fist, which sounds really weird in context, but that's essentially what she was doing. She didn't charge it, she didn't load it, she just punched it. So yeah, she's not going all out. She's not even going half out. Or is she? No, it's not. It's not loaded. It's not cocked. And then Chris also shooting, and nobody can hurt it. But then, suddenly, Kirika ex Machina chops the tentacle right off. And then, suddenly, Shirabe ex Machina turned herself into a convertible and just sliced it up like it's nothing. Interesting. Interesting why? Like, I get it from a narrative standpoint. The three main heroes are set against something insurmountable that they can't ever even hope to scratch. But suddenly, two unlikely allies arrive and save the day, right? It's very common, again, very tropey, and it makes sense to play into that particular trope, into that particular narrative. But from like world building standpoint, does it make sense that they are able to do that? Isn't it that Kirika and Shirabe don't actually have like natural compatibility with Symphogear? Aren't they like Kanade? I'm assuming someone like Tsubasa would be able to, well, would be the stronger user, like it, right? If Tsubasa wasn't able to scratch it, neither Kirika nor Shirabe would be able to, unless they are still high on linker. Because when they were fighting, they did each inject themselves with linker. That might be it. That might be what increases their power, and that's why they're able to defeat the Nephilim. Here comes Maria. Here comes Ver. Just going a little bit extra with that extra flourish. I especially like this little bit. His hand goes back so quickly and he switches pose pretty much in the span of a single frame. It's so snappy. It's great. I really like how extra that is. Maria henshins. We don't get the full henshin sequence. But her power of henshin apparently created a barrier, which is interesting. What's it say? Ziggurat edenal, moderato vivo, adagietto. Those are all musical terms, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have it, Ziggurat edenal. Yeah, Garandis Babel Zigurat Edenal en Emus Tol Ronzen Fine el Zitzel Presto. Just a bunch of gibberish, really. But this also reminds me of something. How Maria used her henshin essentially to shield everybody from damage. Um, it was Power Rangers something. I don't remember which season was it. The name of the season. It was the season that was happening in like alternate reality, in like post-Apo world. I don't remember the title, but they actually used their transformation, their morphing energy. Like, you know, when Power Rangers morph, when it's morphin time, there's always explosions behind them. And usually it's just treated as an extra flair, essentially. But in that particular season, one of them used their morphing explosion to blow up a group of enemies. And it was actually referenced that, yeah, no, it's not just an effect that there are explosions. It's like genuinely the power of morphine from the morphine grid emerging and blowing shit up. And it actually can be used for combat. And it's similar idea to what it is here. Really like it. And yeah, the pendant is breaking. Well, it is already broken. I'm not sure if it's breaking further with each use. It must be, because by the time they were done with the whole shebang, only like half of it remained for Maria. S2CA channel, S2CA, what was it? Symphogear to something something? I'm not sure. Someone explained this this term to me. This what's it called? Not a shortcut. This word S2CA. Someone expanded it to me, and I already forgotten. Yeah, they're joining hands, and they're all getting naked again. I don't know what it is with this season and everybody just losing their clothes all the time, but once is a choice. Twice might be a coincidence, but it happened more times than that. It's not just the six of us, it's the world. Amazing frame. Just save it. Just save it. Just screenshot it. And apparently they sung their suicide songs, but it didn't sound anything like their suicide song. Everything is perfectly understandable and cohesive words. There is not a shred of the Sumerian chanting or anything like that. Those are not the words of a superb song. Is it really a superb song that they've sung? Or is it something else entirely? Could be either. Could be either. From the perspective of the show, from like narrative and whatnot, and from the perspective of sound design and music design, I guess, it would make sense that they would continue this particular song because it's meaningful, right? The story nears its end, will begin anew, our miracles enter the history books, they will endure here. Now it's meaningful stuff, so they would want to continue, so they would want them, the creators of the show, would want them to continue singing it. Because it makes sense. But it's not the lyrics of the superb song. So it could be either that it's supposed to be a superb song, but they wanted to continue singing these words, or, as I said, the fact that they are singing different words and yet they're getting a second henshin might point towards it being something else completely. I guess it does ask if it is. Yeah, if it is a suicide song. Actually, if they are singing it just using different lyrics, uh, it answers my question about whether or not Hibiki is still able to endure it, to endure channeling all their superb songs and harmonizing them and bearing the brunt of the effects of all of them at once. If it's something else entirely, that would leave the question about Hibiki being able to survive Superb Song still hanging, and it would create a whole new thing. I like how everybody is getting a new henshin. Yeah, essentially a new form. Second henshin. This. I know that I shouldn't be questioning Ogawa and Genjuro. Ogawa does as Ogawa does, Genjuro does as Genjuro does. If in fifth episode of the next season Ogawa suddenly grew a singular horn and his left eye turned red, I wouldn't even question it, honestly. But I have to question it. He shoots forward. Then the bullet arcs upwards, goes down, and he uses Shade Stitcher. And it works. Like, so far, the abilities they had, Genjuro and Ogawa, I mean, were explainable by training. I'm talking like anime grade training, where if you do some training, then you're able to run on water and fly in the air and double jump and whatnot, right? They were explainable by that. Genjuro is simply very strong, right? He can stop Tsubasa's killer attack because he's just this strong. He can crush a meteor with his arm because he's just this strong. That's the explanation, right? Ogawa, he had training so he can run on water and double jump. He just trained with some Tibetan monks, as you do, as Tibetan monks do. It's just a thing, you know? Don't question it. But this time, Ogawa actually uses something that I thought was an ability of Tsubasa's Symphogear. Right? Because first time we've seen Shadow Stitcher, it was Tsubasa using it with her little dagger. So either Ogawa is somehow able to use powers of her Symphogear, or Shadow Stitcher is some ninjutsu kind of thing that Ogawa knows and Tsubasa also knows. She also learned under those same Tibetan monks. I guess makes sense. They're a manager and a singer and an idol. So maybe they went on a concert tour through Tibet and that's where they learned it. I don't know, something like that. Interesting. Interesting, which is it? I don't expect an explanation, don't get me wrong. I don't expect Ogawa's powers to actually be like explained and more depth put into them. But it's still an interesting thing, interesting tidbit, interesting thing to mention. Miracles are the reward for trying as hard as you possibly can. Then I deserve one. Yeah, consuming. Exactly, Nephilim is consuming the frontier. That's what it's supposed to do. If I can't be a hero in this world, it should just evaporate. He really has a hero complex. And yeah, Genjuro just smashes the control panel. Alas, it doesn't work as it works in movies, where you throw a knife or a kunai or a shuriken or something at a control panel of a door and the door just opens. Doesn't work that way in real world. It's not a real world, it's anything but it's interesting that there's a little tidbit of like realism among all this madness. I like their new designs. I think they are different from the previous season. I might be mistaken. Don't get me wrong, I might be mistaken. I might be misremembering how their second henshins looked in the previous season. But I like their second henshins here. Do we see Kirika's and Shirabe's? Well, not here. Yeah, he wants to be either a hero or a martyr. Interesting tidbit. Someone, somewhere, I really can't remember who and where. Uh, Again, it was years ago at the height of like attacks in Germany and whatnot. Someone proposed that every time that it would be like legally mandated that if media is to report on someone committing some like big crime, they should be photoshopped with a clown nose and their name should be swapped for Bumbleschmidt's Bumblebee or something like that to ridicule them and ridicule the idea of being like them, of copycats. Because a lot of crime, like serious crime, is committed by copycats who desire the same sort of attention and the same sort of validation, right? Oh, this dude, he killed 500 people and got a spot in the newspaper and all the news are talking about him and there's probably gonna be books and oh my god, I want to be just like him. But if people like that are ridiculed instead of being put at the forefront of all the media as martyrs for whatever misguided case they might have had, then people who would perhaps subscribe to whatever case they had would not be as inclined to become copycats. And I like that it's kind of sort a little bit of a similar idea. Ver is not going to become a martyr. If there's someone who will somehow learn of what Ver's plans were, and if there's someone who would want to repeat it, they will know that they can't become a martyr because the disaster squad won't just kill them. They'll be arrested like a regular criminal, like a shoplifter. They will just rot in jail, rot in prison, and the world won't hear of them. That's probably genuinely the biggest punishment they could have given to Ver. Being forgotten. Being just a prisoner number 7802. You know? I like it. I like it. Of course, Genjuro does as Genjuro does, and Ver panics, just wants to be killed, just wants his head to be cracked open between Genjuro's powerful thighs. And second season, and we're already fighting a planet-sized, well, not planet-sized, but a planet-killing space demigod across dimensions. How are they going to escalate it from here? Who's gonna be the villain and the final boss of the next season? I dread to think of it. Watch the final boss of the next season be the fucking lady from Flower. She didn't do anything particularly bad. She just gave everybody in town food poisoning because she used old eggs. Something like that. Would be a little bit of a subversion. Fair bit of a subversion. She just sheds her twin tails. Gains ephemeral twin tails. Sheds all of her armor. It just builds a motherfucking Gundam. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, just builds a Gundam. Then this Gundam grows an ass. Guess that's the only way Shirabe can enjoy this kind of a body, huh? Kirika joins the fray. And yeah, it would make sense that something that is called the Devourer, and was already consuming relics left and right, would probably also consume the power of your relics. Very good thinking on Chris's part. If you can't defeat it, just banish it. Let someone else worry about it later. When in 100 years the gates of Babylon open, it won't be just noise anymore, it will be noise in the motherfucking Nephilim. And of course, Maria wants to sacrifice herself. Why wouldn't she? It's a fairly common thing in Symphogear, I noticed. The topic of redemption and good ways of redeeming yourself and the bad ways of redeeming yourself, right? Chris wants redemption and she's actively doing good to redeem herself, right? She risked it all to gain access to the Staff of Solomon. Now she's using the Staff of Solomon, something that she's responsible for, or at least she believes herself to be responsible for it. And she redeems herself actively. That's a good way of redemption, the good kind. Maria just says, oh, I'll just fucking off myself. That's gonna redeem me, right? She's taking the easy way out, so to speak, but also the way that doesn't bring anybody any benefit. It's much more beneficial for everybody if she survives and she continues fighting the noise. Right? And yeah, it's only fair that we protect you. We're not gonna just let you sacrifice yourself. And we finally get our first look at the Library of Solomon. And it's a fustercluck, let me tell you. Ziggurats floating around. Well, not ziggurats. Ziggurats were ziggurats. No, wait. Am I getting my things mistaken? Ziggurats are Sumerian. The tiered pyramids in South America are called something else? Or are those ziggurats? And the buildings in Sumer are called something else? I have to Google it. I need to get my facts straight. Ziggurat. Ziggurat in Ur. Yeah, ziggurats are very much Sumerian, ancient Mesopotamia, and so South America pyramid. What are those called? Just pyramids. Just Mesoamerican pyramids. They don't have any special name. Okay, I guess. Mesoamerican pyramids it is. So yeah, those are ziggurats. I see an odd pyramid or two here and there. Huh. So this is the world where the noise live. And where the noise are coming from. Interesting. Interesting who created it. Or was it created? Or was it just something that existed? And if so, how did the noise manage to make their way into our world? Was the Solomon Kane the thing that brought the noise here? Or was it something else? I don't know. We might get an answer, we might not. That all remains to be seen. And they have a little bit of a escape pod. I'm happy for them. What will be the base of operations in the next season, though? That's what I want to know. In the first season, it was the catacombs, not catacombs, it was the underground part of Kadingir. In this season, it was a submarine. What's it gonna be in the next season? A quadcopter, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Maybe they're gonna go back to Kadingir. Maybe the construction has already been completed. Maybe they're gonna get a new submarine. I don't know. But I wanna know. I wanna see it. And honestly, I hope that every season they're gonna have a whole different base of operations. That'd be cool. Adjusting the moon's orbit. And the moon is working again. The world won't have to end. I honestly thought that by now Mother would have been dead. Didn't the whole frontier just float into space and then crumble apart? And part of it was transformed into the Nephilim? I guess not. I guess this little part was left floating around, and that's where Mother was. Maybe she's still floating around somewhere in space. This is interesting. This is interesting. Hibiki finally has her armed gear. Finally remembered the proper name for it. She finally managed to manifest her spear, the Gangnir proper. And there's no fanfare. There's no flair to it. There's no fanfare. She wanted her armed gear for the entirety of the first season. She was constantly mourning the fact that she cannot summon it, that, oh, maybe if I was able to summon it, Tsubasa wouldn't have to sing her suicide song. If only I had my armed gear. She has her armed gear. She has no reaction to it. She's not surprised, she's not happy, it's just very matter of fact. She has the spear now, she's going to use it, and she's going to attack. That's all it is. And they're fighting noise. It's useful to have someone who has chainsaws and buzzsaws with you, right? If there are some tentacles that grab you, they can just chop them off. If you have a mission to find a relic in Amazonian jungle, they can, open the path for you. And the first Symphogear falls apart. Maria's Symphogear, I just noticed, has a nurse theme to it. Especially the little crown. It looks like a nurse cap. And the colors, she really looks like a nurse. I wonder if it has any significance. She hasn't been shown attacking yet. That's another thing. She's only defending. And the combined attack they use in the end is called revitalization. Could Maria end up being a support of sorts? Her power doesn't give her much in terms of combat ability, but she can heal her allies or shield them or something like that. That'd be interesting. So far, every single Symphogear user was entirely offensive, entirely focused on fighting the noise. Nobody has a support role here. Hibiki, I guessed most of them because she can amplify their songs, but ultimately, Gangnir itself is meant as an offensive weapon. The fact that Hibiki doesn't use it offensively is an anomaly. Yeah, open it. But maybe should have tried opening it a little bit closer. And again, everybody sheds her Symphogear. Tsubasa sheds hers. Yeah, later Chris sheds hers. And it turns into laser blasts. And she just sticks around to observe. She doesn't want to run away, she wants to look at some cool explosions. Only after she's full of explosions, she had her fill, she runs. They're all holding hands. Interesting. Interesting that Maria looks like the leader here. She's at the forefront. She's the tallest. She's at the front. You'd expect Hibiki to be the leader, but it wouldn't surprise, or Tsubasa. But it wouldn't surprise me if Maria became the de facto leader of the group. Not like a tyrannical leader that tells everybody what they should do, but more of a representative leader, more of a Queen of England than a president of, I don't know, president of the US, or I don't know in which country the president has the most power, but fill the gap. That, I don't think that's Durandal. Durandal looked different. I'm assuming either Excalibur, which would play into the idea of Maria having the nurse look to her, the nurse theme, and of the revitalization, because when it comes to Excalibur, sorry, I blanked on the name for a moment, I don't know why. Excalibur as a sword was a cool sword, don't get me wrong, but the scabbard was very interesting. The scabbard would always heal its wielder. As long as you hold the scabbard of Excalibur, you're pretty much immortal. Notice how she pulled the sword out of her chest, out of her Symphogear. She is the scabbard. She can heal. Assuming this is actually Excalibur, because I don't know, I might be speaking completely out of my ass. But it checks out. Oh, that's a wonky frame. Oh, that's a wonky look. Yeah, it's just some in-between frames, so interesting that it stopped on it, but not gonna care about it, and you shouldn't either. It's just an in-between. I'll never let go of your hands. She learned something from Hibiki. Hand-holding is the recipe for success. And everybody gets naked again. Everybody again loses their Symphogear. And the yellow hand of Hibiki's Gangnir and the white hand of Maria's Excalibur, I'm assuming. The power of hand-holding compels you, and they end up outside. Loneliness turns into tenderness. Our wounds turn into the proof of our friendship. The melody of my life is consecrated to you. Sung as Hibiki calls out to Miku and introduces her as her best friend. The melody of my life is consecrated to you. What a coincidence! I had a question that, or rather a doubt. Couldn't they have defeated the Nephilim in the outside world, in the outer space? Did they really have to bring it here? Because I assumed that they wanted to bring it here to just seal it away. But now we learn that the Nephilim, when it dies, it explodes, and it probably would have taken, if not the whole Earth, then a significant chunk of it with it. So it's best to explode it in another dimension, in a dimension inhabited by noise, no less, which makes it all the better because you also get rid of a lot of noise. Very interesting that it's Miku who seals the gate, and also that she doesn't attempt to use it. She just throws it like a fucking javelin, hoping for the best. It might very well just flown and just landed somewhere in the trees. And the gate just opens and everything blows up. She had no idea it's going to work. But of course it did. It had to. We had to have a good ending. So that no one will have to fight in this world. Nephilim explodes. I guess it's implied that the Nephilim takes the entirety of the library with it. I'm not entirely sure about it. It seemed like a pretty big place. So I'm left assuming that noise will continue being a threat. That they didn't completely get rid of the noise. But one thing they did is ensured that nobody will have control of the noise. Because the Staff of Solomon is no longer here. It's in the realm of the noise, if not destroyed by the explosion. That's a cool effect. They're really just moving the hue slider to the right until it makes a full 360. But it's a cool effect. I like it. And then everything goes back to normal. Miku collapses. Everybody's happy, except Ver. He didn't get to be a hero, he didn't get to be a martyr. Oh well. Moon is returning, but they can't make contact with Nastasia. Again, oh well. I like that the moon retained its rings. I like this look for a moon. In general, one more thing I'm a sucker for. It feels like in every anime I have to at least once tell you about what I'm a sucker for, like storytelling wise or art wise or something like that. I'm a sucker for weird moons. When a moon has a face on it, or has some shape on it, or when it has a hole on it, or when a moon is blown in half. You know, stuff like that. Or when a moon is some mega structure, like in Warframe. If the moon has been like turned into an artificial thing, essentially, a habitat used to be. Or in My Little Pony, the face of the mare on the moon imprinted on the moon. I loved it. I love this shit. I even made a Skyrim mod that added the face, the horse head to the moon texture. First and only mod I ever made. Her pendant is broken. Question: is it still functional? Can it be restored? Okay, I can have I have space for one more, I guess. Maria's pendant restoration. Uh, I don't know what exactly I mean by that. Maybe it's gonna be a major plot point. Maybe it's gonna be something that happens. Maybe it's gonna be something that Maria will have to learn to do, or maybe she will have to live with the deficiency of her pendant. Maybe it's gonna be special thanks to that. Maybe, as I mentioned, she will have to use the power of friendship to activate it, essentially, to make up for its deficiency in power by borrowing some power from her friends. Something along those lines. I don't know. And yeah, we're done. The world was saved. And of course, Hibiki is the most worthy of the Gangnir. Songs connect us, the universal language. The curse of Belial is still here, but it's been here for millennia. So they learn to live with it. Shirabe didn't pass the words, or did she just pass the words of Finé onto Hibiki, or did she just not? One day people will come together, but it won't be just but it won't just be some other place or some other time in the future. Mark my words. Sure. Was it something that Finé told her, or I don't think so. And yeah, they go somewhere to sign a non-disclosure agreement, I'm assuming. And Hibiki stays there. I really was expecting a fake surprise appearance of Shirabe, Kirika, and Maria here. Oh, Tsubasa Chris, hello, what are you doing here? Ha ha ha, shenanigans, she called me senpai. Oh, you called her senpai, ha ha ha. And then suddenly Kirika and Shirabe appear. Or they get into class and the teacher says that we're having 3 brand new transfer students, and Kirika, Shirabe, and Maria appear, something like that. But alas, it's a very, maybe not open, but very metaphorical, I guess, ending. Very not open, actually. If, again, we're going with the theme that if there was no next episode, no next season, it would have been a fine ending to the series. If there was a next season, it also has somewhere to continue from. That was nice. That was nice. An hour and 38 minutes already. Jesus. Uh, where's my shoe? There it is. That was a nice ending. That was a nice finale. I think I prefer this finale of this season to the finale of the previous season. Yeah, it feels much more thought out, the finale of the second season, honestly. Much more things leading towards it. We started resolving some threads earlier in the previous episode. The finale of the first season was very haphazard, kinda. It really gave me whiplash at how many changes there were. Finé is good, Finé is bad, Finé is good, Finé is bad, Finé is good, Finé is bad, constantly, and so many things happening. Oh, you think it's the end and you won, haha, you didn't. Oh, now you won, haha, no, you didn't. Oh, now you won, haha, no, you didn't. Oh, now you won. I'm going to bring the moon down and I'm going to die. There was a lot. This finale was much more focused and generally a much more pleasant viewing experience. Honestly, yeah, I really like this episode, and not only as a finale, but as an episode um, in itself. It also, for the first time, kind of showed an ending to a season that itself was thought out, I guess. I'm going to elaborate. The first episode felt like it had a lot going on for it. A lot of different things. There was the weird woman who we didn't know was Finé quite yet. There was Hibiki and her conflict with Miku. There was Chris and her internal and external conflict. There was the threat of Kadingir, who they didn't even know what it was. There was the threat of noise. There was a lot of things. It was a mishmash of many things. Makes sense. They didn't know they're going to get next season, so they wanted to um, put as many things, as many ideas in a single stretch. This season was much more streamlined and much more focused. The only threads we really had was just Maria and her merry band trying to save the world in their misguided way. That was it. Not even the noise played a role in itself. Noise played a role as a tool for Ver to use. It didn't play a role in and of itself. Yeah, it was very focused. I really liked it. I really did. I guess I already started talking about the season itself, so I'm going to continue. I like the new additions. I like Kirika, I like Shirabe. I like their little relationship. I like Maria. I initially thought that everybody or most of the people here will be irredeemable, but no, they turned out to be pretty sympathetic in the end. Dumb at times, don't get me wrong, absolutely fucking stupid, but sympathetic nonetheless. I can see Shirabe and Kirika integrating into our team fairly well. Maria will definitely have some issues. She will be the new Chris, essentially. Chris is now well integrated. She goes to school. She's fine already. Kirika and Shirabe had a taste of the school, and they will also have no trouble integrating. Maria will have a problem. Not because she is like a wild child or whatever and she doesn't know how to eat or whatnot, but she will have a problem because there's mm, a lot of grief still left in her. There is a lot of doubt. There is no doubt a fair share of anger. There is a lot of emotions, and she will have to deal with them somehow. There's also a lot of responsibility and a lot of what should I call it? A lot of regret because what she did, what she was striving for, the what she was striving for didn't come to pass in the end. Right? She wanted to help Ver and Mother and everybody to save the world, but it turned out that she was just playing into Ver's plans of being a hero. Ver didn't genuinely want to save the world, and she helped him. And she killed many people. That's the thing. She killed them for no reason, really. Because they could have just, joined forces with the disaster squad and unsealed the frontier and shoot the moon and restore it. It was a way they could have gone. but they didn't. And Maria killed a lot of people and was responsible for deaths of many more by proxy, by just enabling Ver and enabling his ways. And she will have to live with that. And she will be trying to atone. I can see that being her main driving force, the need for atonement. I have no doubt that she will be trying to atone in misguided ways. I have no doubt that she will try to sacrifice herself many a time in the future. But eventually, she will learn to atone through her actions. And I believe that the next season might be focused on Maria's atonement. Maybe not entirely focused around it, but the way season one was kinda sorta from a point focused on bringing Chris on board to the light side. Season 2 was kinda sorta focused on Hibiki's struggles with her humanity or lack thereof. The main personal conflict of season 3, I can easily see it being Maria's need for atonement. What else is there to mention? Uh, I'm still not sure what happened with the library of Babylon. Are the noise all destroyed? I don't think so. But if they are, maybe we will start the arc, I guess, of fight against custodians. Because from what I understand, custodians are very much against Lulu Amel, the humanity. They are trying to exploit humanity in some way, shape, or form. It's not very clear. What is clear is that custodians are the enemy, they are the antagonists, or they will be the antagonists eventually. So if the noise aren't an issue anymore, probably the custodians will be. Or maybe the noise will still continue being an issue. That's also very much probable. Um, hmm. The noise will have to get out of that library somehow. I guess they are naturally getting out, but I believe it was said that it's limited, that there's usually like a couple attacks a year tops, and the attacks increased because of the staff of Solomon. No. Or did they? I think the attacks might have increased because of the staff of Solomon, because Finé was fiddling around with it and she was summoning all the noise. But it doesn't necessarily fit chronologically, because Finé was awakened when they were already working on the Symphogear technology. And why would they be working on Symphogear technology if the noise weren't a major threat? If it was something that you can just wait out without an issue, and something that just appears once or twice a year and is essentially no different than a tornado or a typhoon or something passing by. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure of the chronology and of whether or not the noise becoming more and more of an issue is a natural thing, or is it something that was genuinely caused by the staff of Solomon? Hmm. Interesting. I guess we'll see what happens in the future seasons, in the future episodes. What else? What else? What else? Um, you can certainly see that this season had a little bit more budget and a little bit more, um, maybe not care put into it, because the first season also had a lot of care put into it. I think it's mostly down to budget. Much fewer sliding PNGs. Um, better fight scenes, a little better music, honestly. And I'm not like a huge music nerd, so don't count on me telling you exactly why, but it felt like the music of this season, especially here in the finale, was just a little bit of a step above. When I noted how cinematic the music was during one of the scenes, I really meant it. It wasn't a track that you would hear in an anime. It was a track that you would hear sitting in an IMAX watching the newest smack hit from Hollywood, right? Hmm. Yeah, I really enjoyed this season. Probably even more than season one, honestly. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't go the way of Hibiki gaining control over herself being part relic and gaining more power, something like that. That they just erased it and she's just now a regular Symphogear user. Huh. But yeah, I think that's just me. I'm not gonna count it against this season. It's not a downside of it. It's just me. I was hoping for that because I love topics of like human hybrids, human hybrid using alien technology for prosthetics or stuff like that. Part human, part relic, things like that. I really like them, so I was expecting them. I was hoping for them more like. But yeah, it's absolutely no fault of the series. I had a fair share of negative things to say about season one. I find myself not having anything negative to say about season two. Honestly, I had some issues with pacing in season one. I'm not having issues with pacing in season two. Um, I think the only thing that might have been on the weaker side, that might have maybe not even irked me a little, but didn't sit perfectly well with me, is how much harder to understand season 2 is. There is a lot of new information, a lot of new motivations, a lot of brand new characters. It sometimes is just a little bit hard to follow. Usually, with what you can follow, you can make the gist of it, but to get the full view and full experience, it's not that easy, especially not if you're like sitting here and commenting on things and probably missing some stuff because you were talking and not paying attention at the subtitles or at top right quarter of the screen where something important was happening, right? I think that's the only thing, but even that is a reach. Even that is honestly a reach. It wasn't a flawless season, but fairly close to flawless, or at least I can't really point any major flaws in it. Trying to find some more things to talk about, but that's another thing I'm finding hard to do. Yeah, I think that's just gonna be it. I'm not gonna sit here humming and wondering and thinking and wasting my time, wasting your time. If I have nothing more to say, well, apparently I have nothing more to say. I'm not gonna try to force it. When you try to force stuff, you are bound to pop a vein, and I would very much like to avoid doing that. When it comes to plans for the future, I will certainly watch the OVA next. And when I release the OVA on YouTube, episode 1 of the next season will also be released on YouTube. As always, everything's Symphogear since it's a non-seasonal. You will be able to see everything on Patreon early. This time you were able this finale, if you're watching it on Patreon, it's like 2 weeks early for you. So yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Concert, I already mentioned. We're gonna watch it on Discord. I don't know if I'm gonna record it or live stream it or something like that. I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle it, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna jump into a group call, into a voice channel, and I'm gonna, put on the concert, and we're gonna watch it, and we're gonna have a nice little grand little time. And yeah, I think that's like genuinely it. Again, if you want to see my notes, they're gonna be either on Patreon or on Discord. We'll see. And huh, feels kind of empty finishing a season, but that emptiness will soon be filled up by the next one, by the OVA and the next one. I was kind of hoping we're gonna see just a little bit more of a closing, as I mentioned, Shirabe, Kirika, Maria, but it's probably something that's going to happen in the OVA, or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, that's gonna be it for me for today. So, as always, you guys, you tell me in the comments down below, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories, of this season as a whole, because it's time for summaries, right? Tell me all about it. Don't spoil me the next season, of course, don't spoil me the OVA, but now you can freely talk about everything there is to talk regarding Symphogear G. All reins are off, all shackles are off. You're free to talk about it either in the comments or on my Discord. Link is right here. You can join my Discord. There's also a link in the description. And talk about spoilers for the future seasons, maybe, as long as you use the spoiler tags. There are people who've seen Symphogear 15 times in my server and on the Symphogear channel, so you might be able to talk with them about the future seasons and what are you looking forward to the most, and I don't know, stuff like that. Maybe I predicted something that's going to happen in future seasons, and you're gonna have a jolly old laugh about it, how I managed to predict the future. I don't know. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases, and not only Symphogear G, but also Spy X Family. Also, Review Starlight, that is nearing its finale soon. Great show, I highly recommend it. Shokei Shoujo Virgin Road, another amazing show if you like analyzing stuff, thinking about things. I have more notes on Virgin Road than on Symphogear G, so let it speak for itself. And what else? Tatanusha no Nariagari Season 2. It's actually getting better now that we've gotten to the next arc, so another thing I can recommend. And Skeleton Knight in Another World is yet another series I'm watching. And of course, there were also other series that I've seen in the past, and you will be able to find them all on my channel. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Support me if you want. If you really like what I'm doing, you can do that on Patreon. For $10 a month, you get also early access to non-seasonal shows. So Symphogear, Review Starlight. What's it gonna be the next season? I don't know yet, but I will be streaming the next season things, the preview, what's gonna come out in the next one, and I'm gonna be picking and choosing. So if you want to stick around for that, also subscribe to be notified. What did I say? Yeah, right. Support me on Patreon, and for $1, you get a role on my Discord server, and you get a place in the credits as well. So that's something. And if you don't want to spend the money, you can of course also support me by sharing the word, spreading my videos far and wide, sharing it with your friends, with your family, with whoever is willing to listen. The word of mouth really matters a lot, and sharing my stuff through the grapevine is one of the best ways for me to gain viewers and gain audience. Anything else? No, that's it. So I'm gonna end it here. 2 hours. That's legit my longest video. I'm gonna end it here. My throat is dying. What's my outro again? That's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Cheers. And credits. There it is. Those are the credits I mentioned, and you can help expand this list. And here goes to ours.